Hello, all you long distance motorcycle riders. Road Hogger here. It's October 2nd. I'm at the location of Fort Defiance. Well, what was Fort Defiance? It was built in 1794 by General Mad Anthony Wayne prior to the Battle of Fallen Timbers, which was pretty close by, past that on the state road coming down. uh, and then I guess there was another fort here, Fort Winchester, just prior to the War of 1812. But uh, this was a kind of a historic site. There's a stone over there that said all the lands up to Canada are mapped using that as a survey point. So uh, it's been like over probably 40 years since I've been here to Defiance proper. Uh, when I was in between marriages, the first one was at that time they had to have a 90-day cooling off period in case the agent party like wanted to change their mind. And I was working for that company, Kirk and Bloom Manufacturing in Indianapolis, and I said, "You got someplace where I can be for like 90 days to cool off?" Although there was no cooling off, she and I were pretty well decided it was done. So yeah, they said, "Oh yeah, we got a big job coming up in Defiance at the GM foundry." I says, "You can go up there." I said, "Oh, fine, great." So little did I know that I was going to be spending another next part of a decade up here working at that foundry, which was pretty exciting at the time. So, yeah, I met when I came up here for the cooling off period. I met this girl, Diane, uh, at the old Holiday Inn, which had a restaurant and lounge where they had live music and dancing. And she was a dispatcher for the police department here in town, and yeah, we were together for quite a bit of time, and she took me around to see all the sites here in Defiance. This place, what was it? The Auglays Village, which I tried to go to today, but they're closed because they're prepping for the Johnny Appleseed Festival that's coming up this weekend, and I'll be long gone before that happens. And not to sound like a wussy boy, when because I stopped at the visitor center downtown, they said that I was asking about it, and I said, "Oh, I said, do they have a paved parking lot?" And she goes, "Oh no, it's all grass and like loose gravel." And I go, "Oh, that's my bane of riding on." I mean, I might have chanced it, but when she said that it was closed in preparation for the Johnny Appleseed Festival, I had to scratch that off my list. But I did make the other ones on my list. So uh, I went by the General Motors foundry, and evidently they must have a partial exemption from the UAW strike that's going on right now, because the parking lot was like half full. Unfortunately, there wasn't a place for me to pull over and blog about it, so I just took a couple of pictures, and who knows, maybe if I feel the gumption, I might embed a Google aerial of the plant. But it's huge. One side is actually the foundry, and when we were back there in the 80s, they were making the GM Quad 4 engine blocks, amongst other things, but that was the new one at the time. And the opposite side is they call it the powertrain or whatever, but they mostly made the cast metal parts for the front end linkages and all for the GM cars. So yeah, that was all pretty interesting. Uh, One of the interesting stories about being on the powertrain side was we were working there on third shift, and the parts would come down the conveyor belt line, and there was guys there that had these pneumatic hammers, and they had to like chip off the big pieces of flashing from when they were in the mold. And it it just so happens it made a distinctive sound, almost like the Garand rifle with the clip pinging out of it. So you could hear one guy with a hammer going brrr, brrr, like knocking the flash off, and then there would be a guy there with like a hand sledge, and he would be knocking the fins off of it, and it would make a ping noise. Well, the guy was sitting in like an office chair next to the line, and he'd hit this pipe next to him, and it sounded exactly the same kind of ping. And I was thinking, dude, are you like screwing off the other guy down the line because you're not knocking off the fins? But that, that was kind of funny. It was like, brrr, and then this guy would hit the pipe, ping. So, anyway, Diane, what a good sport she was. I mean, she came down to Indianapolis and visited me for a while. We took her to the Children's Museum downtown, and if you, I'm going to post some pictures, but there's nothing taller than like about 3, 4 stories here in town. It's like 1930s town and stuff. So she was pretty in awe being in the big city. But unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. I was traveling so much, I really couldn't invest in a stable relationship, especially a long distance relationship. So we kind of fell out. Kind of wonder whatever happened to her. I only can wish that she had more success in future relationships, had a stable relationship, got married, had children, and all that jazz, like I did. But yeah, after that was all said and done, I ended up getting remarried again, and God bless, I was still working up here, and uh, she came up here a few times to visit with the kids in tow. But it's it's changed a lot, this town, a lot. I mean, the old Holiday Inn doesn't exist anymore. They bulldozed that and put up a Holiday Inn Express, and that whole side of town is all developed now. Gas stations, the bowling alley is still there. They put in a Walmart. That's when you know you're the big city, is when you get a Walmart, right? And the downtown area, it's kind of weird. I went through there today, and it's Monday. It's like most of the downtown stores are actually have businesses in them, but they're closed on Monday. They were closed on Sunday too. I don't understand how they make it, but they are. So that was kind of strange. Yeah, I found out about the weird liquor laws here. It's like you got to buy liquor at the state liquor store, and if you buy it at the grocery store or anyplace else, it's 20% or 40 proof. It's like half the proof. So, you know, after leaving my sisters, I'm probably going to go a little bit dry anyway because I drank quite a bit when I was up there, and I think I packed on a few more pounds, and I don't want to do that. I want to be back to where my slim, trim, riding, fighting weight is. So, yeah. So other than that, I really don't have a lot more to report at this point, other than, yeah, I made some of the other ones. And it's not important to reach all of them. And, oh, there was one Roadside America attraction here, so shout out to Roadside America peeps. It's like, I'll be hitting that on the Facebook page. It was kind of interesting. It was over by the General Motors plant, by a pawn shop. It's like a in the front of the pawn shop. So, I'll post a picture of that. That was kind of interesting. So on that note, this is Roadhogger saying goodbye and God bless. And God bless.